The skyline of New Metropolitan glittered against the night sky, its sleek towers reaching toward the stars like modern obelisks. Alex Morgan stood at his apartment window, gazing at the city he had called home for 47 years. The reflection staring back at him from the glass was a stark reminder of his deteriorating condition: sunken cheeks, pallid skin, eyes dulled by pain medication. The doctors had given him 6 months. That was 4 months ago. Behind him, on the holographic display, the advertisement for NeuroShift Technologies played on loop. A new body, a new beginning, your consciousness, preserved forever. The images showed vibrant people running, swimming, living without limits. At the bottom of the screen, a countdown timer ticked away the hours until the next round of volunteer applications closed. Alex turned away from the window and approached the display, his hand hovering over the application button. He had been contemplating this decision for weeks. The experimental consciousness transfer program was his last hope, a chance to escape the terminal cancer eating away at his body. Application submitted. The system chirped after Alex pressed his palm against the scanner. A representative will contact you within 24 hours. Maya called him that evening, her face appearing on his wall screen, concern etched into her features. At 39, she was 8 years his junior, though the gap seemed much wider now as his illness accelerated his aging. "You did it, didn't you?" she asked without preamble. Alex nodded, lowering himself carefully onto the couch. "I had to. Maya, we both know I'm running out of time. But consciousness transfer? Alex, it's experimental. There have been reports of complications, personality changes. What's the alternative? I die in this apartment, alone, while you watch from across the city because you can't bear to see me like this anymore." The words hung between them, sharp and honest. Maya's eyes glistened with tears. "I still love you," she said softly. "That hasn't changed." "Then support me in this. It's my only chance to stay with you." 3 days later, Alex sat in the pristine reception area of NeuroShift Technologies. The building was a marvel of modern architecture, all curved glass and polished metal, designed to inspire confidence in the company's cutting-edge procedures. "Mr. Morgan?" A woman in a crisp white uniform approached him. "Dr. Lin will see you now." He was led through a series of corridors into a spacious office where a woman with silver-streaked black hair waited behind a holographic desk. Dr. Lin rose as he entered, her smile professional and practiced. "Mr. Morgan, welcome to NeuroShift. I've reviewed your application and medical records. You're an excellent candidate for our program." Alex settled into the chair across from her. "Thank you for accepting me. Doctor, I understand there are risks, but every medical procedure carries risks." Dr. Lin interrupted smoothly. "But our success rate is remarkable. Over 80% of transfers result in complete consciousness integration with minimal side effects. And the other 20%? A brief flicker of something, hesitation, perhaps, crossed Dr. Lin's face before her professional mask returned. Some experience memory fragmentation, temporary personality fluctuations. A small percentage struggle with what we call residual consciousness echo from the host body." "The host body," Alex repeated. "You mean the body I'll be transferred into?" "Yes, we use specially grown organic vessels, cloned bodies without consciousness of their own." She paused. "At least, that's the standard procedure. However, given the urgency of your condition, we're offering you a different option." She slid a tablet across the desk. On the screen was an image of a young man, perhaps in his early 30s, with an athletic build and symmetrical features that spoke of genetic optimization. This is Ryan Keller, 29 years old, died in a climbing accident 3 days ago. His body was maintained in perfect cryogenic suspension moments after clinical death. Brain function ceased, but the body is pristine. Alex studied the image. And you're suggesting I take his body? With accelerated preparation, we could have you transferred within the week. Given your prognosis, timing is significant. Alex's hand trembled slightly as he set the tablet down. What aren't you telling me, Dr. Lin? The scientist's eyes met his, calculating. Using a previously inhabited body carries a slightly higher risk of residual consciousness echo, nothing we can't manage with proper medication and therapy. Slightly higher? What are the actual numbers? Approximately 40% of recipients experience some form of echo. Only 15% report significant disruption. Alex laughed bitterly. So I might end up with another person's memories or impulses. Fragments only, Dr. Lin assured him. Think of it as dreaming someone else's dreams occasionally. The suppression treatments are quite effective. Alex closed his eyes, weighing his options. 6 months of increasing pain and deterioration against a chance, however imperfect, at a new life. When can we begin? The preparation process was exhaustive. For 3 days, Alex underwent neural mapping, where specialized nanocomputers recorded every synapse and connection in his brain. He submitted to psychological evaluations, signed countless liability waivers, and recorded final messages, just in case. Maya visited him the night before the procedure, her face tense with worry. You don't have to do this, she said, squeezing his hand as they sat in his hospital room. I do, he replied. For us. She looked away. I've been researching NeuroShift. There are forums online, people claiming their loved ones came back different, not just superficially, but fundamentally changed. Maya, those are probably just conspiracy theorists. Every new technology faces skepticism. Just promise me something, she said, turning back to face him. If you feel different after the transfer, if something seems wrong, tell me. Don't hide it. I promise, he said, drawing her close. But everything will be fine. This time tomorrow, I'll be cancer-free, decades younger, and ready to start our life together properly. The next morning, Dr. Lin led a team of specialists in the transfer procedure. Alex lay on a specialized operating table, his head encased in a neural interface helmet. Across the room, Ryan Keller's body, his future body, lay similarly prepared. The process will feel like falling asleep, Dr. Lin explained as technicians made final adjustments. When you wake, you'll be in your new body. There may be some disorientation initially, but that's normal. Alex took a deep breath. I'm ready. The last thing he saw was Dr. Lin nodding to a technician. The last thing he felt was a curious sensation of being pulled from his body, like a glove being turned inside out. Then darkness. Waking came in stages. First, sensations. The cool air against skin that felt too sensitive. The soft hum of machines. The weight of a body that felt wrong somehow. Too heavy, yet too light. Then awareness. He was lying down, eyes closed, surrounded by quiet voices. Finally, memory. He was Alex Morgan. He had undergone consciousness transfer. He was now in someone else's body. He opened his eyes. The ceiling above him was white and sterile. Medical monitors beeped softly nearby. A face came into view. Dr. Lin. Her expression a mixture of clinical interest and cautious optimism. Mr. Morgan, can you hear me? His mouth felt strange as he formed words. Yes, I'm here. Even his voice was unfamiliar, deeper, with different resonance. Excellent. Dr. Lin made a note on her tablet. Can you tell me your full name and date of birth? Alexander James Morgan, March 15th, 1978. Very good. And do you recognize me? Dr. Lin from NeuroShift. She nodded, satisfied. The transfer appears successful. You may experience some physical adjustment as your consciousness acclimates to its new housing. This is normal. Alex tried to sit up, and his body responded with startling efficiency, muscles moving with a strength and precision he hadn't experienced in years. Looking down, he saw unfamiliar hands, tanned and strong, resting on a hospital gown covering an equally unfamiliar torso. I'd like a mirror, he said. A nurse brought him a handheld mirror. The face that looked back at him was the one he had seen in the photograph, Ryan Keller's face. Strong jaw, clear eyes, not a single line of age or worry. It was perfect, and it was utterly foreign. We'll keep you under observation for 48 hours. Dr. Lin explained. After that, assuming all tests remain positive, you'll begin physical therapy to fully acclimate to your new body. That night, alone in his hospital room, Alex experienced the first echo. He was drifting towards sleep when suddenly a vivid image flashed through his mind, standing on a mountain ledge, looking down at a sheer drop, feeling not fear, but exhilaration. The sensation was so powerful he gasped, his heart racing. It wasn't his memory. He had never been mountain climbing. It belonged to Ryan Keller. By morning, he had convinced himself it was just a dream, influenced by knowing how Keller had died. Dr. Lin seemed satisfied with his progress, and the battery of cognitive tests showed no anomalies. Your neural patterns are stabilizing nicely, she told him. The body is accepting your consciousness without rejection. I had a strange dream last night, Alex mentioned casually, about mountain climbing. Something flickered in Dr. Lin's eyes. Did you? That's not uncommon. The brain is processing the transition. Think of it as sorting through files during a system transfer. It felt very real. Mention any such occurrences to your therapist, she said, making a note. We'll adjust your echo suppression medication if necessary. By the third day, Alex was walking confidently, marveling at his body's responsiveness. The physical therapist explained that muscle memory remained intact after transfer. His new body knew how to move efficiently, even if his consciousness needed time to adjust to directing it. Maya visited that afternoon, her eyes wide as she entered his room. She stopped a few feet from his bed, staring. It's me, Alex said, hearing the unfamiliar voice that was now his. It's still me, Maya. She approached cautiously, studying his new face. How do you feel? Strong, healthy, he smiled. Young. She reached out hesitantly and touched his cheek. You look so different. But I'm the same inside. All my memories, my feelings for you, they're unchanged. Maya nodded, but something in her eyes remained uncertain. Dr. Lin says you can come home in a few days. Our home, he corrected, taking her hand. We can finally start planning our future together. That night, the echoes intensified. Alex dreamed of scaling impossible cliffs, of jumping from aircraft with a wingsuit, of driving motorcycles at reckless speeds. He woke gasping, his body thrumming with adrenaline and a craving for something he couldn't name. The next morning, during his routine examination, he mentioned the dreams to Dr. Lin. We'll increase your suppression medication, she said, making adjustments to his treatment plan. These echoes should diminish over time as your consciousness fully establishes dominance. Establishes dominance? You make it sound like there's a competition. Dr. Lin's expression remained neutral. Just a figure of speech. Mr. Morgan, your consciousness is the only active one in this body. But that night, lying awake after another vivid dream, Alex wasn't so sure. Something felt off, not just the expected disorientation of being in a new body, but a deeper sense of wrongness, as if he were an intruder. When he finally slept, he dreamed of a woman he'd never met, with auburn hair and a laugh that made his heart ache with longing. He woke with tears on his face and a name on his lips. Emma. The discharge day arrived. Maya came to collect him, bringing clothes she'd purchased based on his new measurements. As Alex dressed, he caught her watching him with a complex expression. "What?" he asked. "It's just strange," she admitted. "You move differently now." Alex paused, realizing she was right. His gait had changed. His gestures were more expansive, and he had developed a habit of running his hand through his hair, something the old Alex had never done. "It's the body's muscle memory," he explained, repeating what the doctors had told him. "It'll fade as I make my own patterns." Maya nodded, but didn't look convinced. Their apartment felt both familiar and strange. Alex moved through the space, touching objects that had been his but now seemed to belong to someone else, a life he had left behind. Maya watched him cautiously, as if expecting him to suddenly become a stranger. That night, as they prepared for bed, Alex reached for her. Maya hesitated. "Is it too soon?" he asked. "I don't know," she admitted. "I need time to adjust. You look like someone else." "But I'm not," he insisted, trying to ignore the flicker of irritation that rose within him, an emotion that felt somehow foreign. "I'm still Alex." She touched his face gently. "Let's take it slow, okay?" He nodded, forcing a smile, but as they lay in bed that night, not touching, Alex found himself wondering if taking Ryan Keller's body meant taking on more than just his physical form. The next morning, Alex woke early, filled with restless energy. Without thinking, he dropped to the floor and completed 50 push-ups with ease, his body moving on autopilot. It wasn't until he finished that he realized Alex Morgan had never done morning push-ups in his life, but Ryan Keller apparently had. The following weeks brought more such moments. Alex found himself ordering coffee differently, preferring foods he had never liked before, and being drawn to activities that had never interested him: rock climbing, motorcycle riding, extreme sports of all kinds. It's natural to want to explore the capabilities of your new body, his neuroshift therapist assured him during their weekly session. Many recipients go through a period of experimentation. "But it doesn't feel like experimentation," Alex tried to explain. "It feels like habit, like I'm doing things I've always done, except I haven't." The therapist made a note. "We might need to adjust your echo suppression medication again. Are you experiencing any other unusual thoughts or impulses?" Alex hesitated, thinking of Emma, the woman from his dreams who felt increasingly real to him. He had begun searching for her online, though he had no last name to go on. "No," he lied, "nothing specific." That evening, Maya confronted him as he researched climbing equipment on his tablet. "What are you doing, Alex? You've always been afraid of heights." He looked up, startled by the realization that she was right. "I just thought I'd try something new." "You've been trying something new every day since you came home. New foods, new music, new hobbies. It's like you're becoming a different person." "I have a different body now. Isn't it natural that some things would change?" Maya sat beside him, her expression troubled. "Dr. Lin said your consciousness would be the same, that only your body would change. But sometimes when I look at you, I don't recognize the man behind those eyes." The accusation stung, partly because Alex feared she might be right. He was changing, and not all of it felt voluntary. "I'm still me," he insisted, but even to his own ears, the words sounded hollow. That night, the dream was more vivid than ever. He was Ryan Keller, saying goodbye to Emma before a climbing expedition. "I'll be back in 2 weeks," Dream Ryan promised. "Then we'll talk about that thing you wanted to discuss." Emma's eyes were serious. "Don't you dare die on that mountain before giving me an answer!" He woke with a start, the conversation echoing in his mind. It didn't feel like a dream or even a memory. It felt like something that had happened to him. The next day, without telling Maya, Alex visited NeuroShift and demanded to see Dr. Lin. "I need to know more about Ryan Keller," he said when finally seated in her office. "Not just how he died, but who he was." Dr. Lin's expression remained professionally neutral. "That information is confidential. Mr. Morgan, the donor's privacy—" "He's not just a donor," Alex interrupted. "His remnants are affecting me. I need to understand why." Dr. Lin studied him for a long moment. "What exactly are you experiencing?" "Dreams, memories that aren't mine, preferences and habits I never had. It's more than echo. It's like he's still here, inside me." Alex leaned forward. "And there's a woman named Emma. I need to know who she is." A flicker of concern crossed Dr. Lin's face. "Emma Winters. She was Ryan Keller's fiancée. She was the one who authorized the donation of his body." Alex felt a chill. "Fiancée? Did she know it would be used for consciousness transfer?" "Of course. All next of kin are fully informed of the procedure." Dr. Lin paused. "This fixation on the donor's life is concerning. Mr. Morgan, I'm going to prescribe a stronger suppression regimen." "I don't need more medication. I need answers. What aren't you telling me about this process?" Dr. Lin's eyes hardened slightly. "I've told you everything relevant to your treatment. These complications are not unexpected. With time and proper medication, the echoes will fade." But Alex wasn't convinced. As he left NeuroShift, he found himself researching Emma Winters instead of heading home, another impulse that didn't feel entirely his own. He found her easily enough, a professional rock climber with an impressive social media presence. Looking at her photos sent a jolt of recognition through him, stronger than should be possible for someone he had never met. Without consciously deciding to, he sent her a message. "I need to talk to you about Ryan." The response came within an hour. "Who is this?" Alex stared at the screen, uncertain how to respond. Finally, he wrote, "Someone who has questions about Ryan Keller. Please, it's important." 3 days later, he sat in a cafe across from Emma Winters, whose auburn hair and guarded expression matched both her photos and his dreams. She studied him with wary curiosity. "You said you had questions about Ryan," she began. "How did you know him?" Alex had prepared a story that he was a fellow climber who had met Ryan briefly, but sitting across from her, he found himself unable to lie. "I didn't know him, but I'm connected to him now." Emma's expression grew more guarded. "What does that mean?" "His body," Alex said, his voice dropping to a near whisper. "I'm the recipient of his body in a consciousness transfer." Emma's face drained of color. She gripped the edge of the table, looking as though she might flee. "That's not possible. They said his body would be used for medical research. Not this." "You signed the donation forms." Alex pressed. "Didn't they explain the procedure?" "They said parts of him would help others. I thought they meant organ donation, tissue research, her eyes filled with tears, not putting another person inside him. Alex felt sick. They lied to you. Or maybe they lied to you, Emma countered, regaining some composure. Why would you contact me? What do you want? I'm having experiences, memories that aren't mine, feelings. Alex struggled to explain. It's like parts of Ryan are still here, inside his body, inside me. Emma stared at him, her expression shifting from disbelief to a strange, desperate hope. What kind of memories? Mountain climbing, wingsuit flying, a motorcycle ride along the coast. He paused. And you? Conversations with you. Tell me something only Ryan would know, she challenged, her voice trembling slightly. Alex closed his eyes, allowing the fragments to surface. There was something you wanted to discuss with him before his last climb. Something important. He promised to give you an answer when he returned. Emma's sharp intake of breath told him he was right. What else? He called you Red sometimes, but never in public because you hated it. The words came without conscious thought. The first time you climbed together, you beat him to the summit, and he knew then that he loved you. Tears spilled down Emma's cheeks. Oh my God, she whispered. He's still in there. The realization should have terrified Alex, but instead, he felt a strange sense of confirmation. Not completely, but something of him remains. Over the next 2 weeks, Alex found himself drawn back to Emma repeatedly. She showed him photos of Ryan, told him stories of their life together, and with each new piece of information, more fragments surfaced in Alex's mind, memories that felt increasingly like his own. Maya noticed his absences, his distraction. Where do you go every day? She asked one evening. You're never home anymore. I've been getting help, Alex said vaguely. For the echoes. From NeuroShift? From someone who understands what I'm going through. Maya's expression hardened. You promised you'd tell me if something was wrong. Instead, you're shutting me out. I'm trying to figure this out. Alex protested. The transfer. It's more complicated than they said. Oh. Then let me help you, Maya pleaded. Whatever it is, we can face it together. But Alex couldn't bring himself to tell her about Emma, about the growing sense that he was not entirely himself anymore. The truth would hurt her too much. I need time, he said instead. That night, lying beside Maya, Alex dreamed more vividly than ever before. He was Ryan, planning his last climb, excited about the challenge but anxious about the conversation that would await him upon his return. Emma wanted children, a family, and Ryan had always been reluctant, valuing his freedom and adventure. But in the dream, he had made his decision. He would say yes. He was ready. Alex woke with tears streaming down his face, feeling a profound sense of loss for a future that had never been his. The next day, he returned to NeuroShift and demanded to see not just Dr. Lin, but all his medical records from the transfer process. When they hesitated, he threatened legal action. Finally, in a conference room with Dr. Lin and the company's legal counsel, Alex was shown the complete file on his case. The neural mapping shows anomalies we didn't initially detect, Dr. Lin admitted, displaying brain scans on the wall screen. Ryan Keller's brain had been without oxygen for only 4 minutes before cryopreservation. That's within the window where some neural patterns might persist. You mean his consciousness wasn't completely gone? Alex translated. You put me into a body that still had fragments of its original owner. Not consciousness, Dr. Lin corrected quickly. Neural echoes, pathways and patterns that were deeply ingrained. These shouldn't have been enough to cause significant interference. Yes, but they are, Alex insisted, I'm experiencing his memories, his preferences, his emotions. Sometimes I don't know where he ends and I begin." The legal counsel cleared his throat. "Mr. Morgan, while we sympathize with your adjustment difficulties, the consent forms you signed acknowledge the possibility of residual echo effects." "Echo effects," Alex repeated bitterly. "This is more than echo. It's like a partial consciousness merger." Dr. Lin leaned forward. "If that's true, it's a significant finding. Would you consent to additional testing? This could help us understand." "I'm not your research subject," Alex snapped. "I'm a person whose identity is being diluted by someone else's remnants. I need solutions, not more tests." "The strongest echo suppression treatments," Dr. Lin began, "aren't working," Alex finished, "and I'm not sure I want them to anymore." The words surprised even him as he spoke them, but he realized they were true. Part of him, a growing part, didn't want to erase Ryan's influence. It felt like killing someone who was already dead, but somehow still present. He left NeuroShift without a solution, only more questions. That evening, he told Maya he needed space and checked into a hotel. There, alone with his fractured identity, he called Emma. "I'm losing myself," he confessed when they met in the hotel bar. "Or maybe I've already lost. Sometimes I feel more like Ryan than Alex." Emma studied him, her expression complex. "When you talk like that, you even sound like him. The cadence, the expressions. Does that comfort you or frighten you?" "Both," she admitted. "Part of me wants to believe he's coming back to me. Another part knows that's impossible and unfair to you." Alex laughed bitterly. "There might not be much of me left to be unfair to." He ran his hand through his hair, Ryan's gesture that had become his own. "I've been shutting Maya out. Our relationship is falling apart. I can't stop thinking about mountains and flying and—" He stopped, not wanting to admit the last part. "And me," Emma finished softly. Alex nodded, unable to meet her eyes. "Memories that aren't mine, feelings that shouldn't be mine, but they feel real." "What are you going to do?" It was the question he had been avoiding. If the suppression treatments couldn't stop the echo effects, if Ryan's fragments were becoming more dominant, not less, what future awaited him? "I don't know," he admitted. "Keep fighting it? Accept it? Try to find some middle ground where both Alex and Ryan can exist." Emma reached across the table and took his hand, Ryan's hand. "Whatever you decide, I'll help you. You're not alone in this." The irony wasn't lost on Alex. The woman who should have been a stranger was offering more understanding than Maya, who had loved him for years. Over the next days, Alex found himself drawn to Ryan's past life, visiting his favorite places, talking to his friends, even attempting some beginner climbing routes. Each new experience triggered more memories, more connections, strengthening Ryan's presence within him. He also researched consciousness transfer extensively, finding disturbing accounts from other recipients who had experienced similar phenomena, personality changes, unexplained memories, shifts in preferences and behaviors. Many had been dismissed as psychological adjustment issues. Some had been medicated into compliance. A few had embraced the changes, seeing them as a form of evolution or rebirth. One night, a week after moving out, Alex met Maya at their apartment to talk. She looked tired, her eyes shadowed with hurt and confusion. "Are you coming home?" she asked as they sat across from each other at the kitchen table. "I don't know if I can," Alex admitted. "I'm not the same person who left here. Because of the transfer, we knew there would be adjustments." "It's more than adjustment. Maya, the person you loved, Alex Morgan, he's fading. Someone else is taking his place." Maya's eyes filled with tears. That's not possible. Your consciousness was transferred intact. That's what they promised. They were wrong, Alex said gently. Or they lied. Either way, I'm becoming someone different. A mixture of Alex and Ryan Keller. Who's Ryan Keller? Maya asked, though from her expression, she already suspected the truth. The previous owner of this body. He was a climber, an adventurer. He had a fiancée named Emma. Alex paused. I've been seeing her. The hurt that flashed across Maya's face was like a physical blow. Seeing her? Like dating? Not exactly. She's helping me understand what's happening to me. Ryan's memories, his feelings for her, they're becoming my memories, my feelings. Maya stood abruptly, anger replacing hurt. So you're using this echo thing as an excuse to leave me? To start a new life with someone else? It's not an excuse, Alex protested. It's happening to me. Maya, I'm losing myself. No, she countered. You're choosing to lose yourself. You're choosing to become this other person instead of fighting to stay who you are. The accusation hit home because there was truth in it. Part of him had stopped fighting, had begun to welcome the intrusion of Ryan's fragments. Why? Because Ryan's life seemed more exciting. Because his body craved the adventures and sensations Ryan had loved. Or was it something deeper, a fundamental compatibility between this body and the consciousness that had originally inhabited it? I don't know how to fight it anymore, he admitted. And I'm not sure I should. Maya looked at him as if seeing a stranger. Then Alex really is gone, she said quietly. And I've lost you. She asked him to leave, to take whatever belongings he needed. As he packed a bag, moving through the apartment that no longer felt like home, Alex realized he had reached a turning point. He could continue trying to suppress Ryan's influence with stronger medications and therapy, holding on to the remnants of Alex Morgan's identity, or he could accept the merger, allow himself to become someone new, neither fully Alex nor fully Ryan, but a unique combination of both. That night, in his hotel room, he made his decision. He flushed his remaining suppression medication down the toilet. The changes accelerated after that, within weeks. Alex found himself competent at intermediate climbing routes, remembered the names of Ryan's friends when he encountered them, and felt increasingly comfortable in Ryan's favorite places. The dreams became more vivid, more coherent, less like fragments and more like a continuous narrative he could access. Emma remained by his side through the transformation, neither encouraging nor discouraging, simply witnessing. One evening, as they sat on a cliffside watching the sunset, something the old Alex would never have done, she asked the question that had been hovering between them. Who are you now, Alex or Ryan? He considered carefully before answering. Neither. Both. I have Alex's memories and values, Ryan's instincts and passions. I'm something new. And who do you want to be? It was the question at the heart of everything. The question that had been forming since he first woke in Ryan's body. I want to be whoever I'm becoming, he said finally. I want to stop fighting it, stop trying to categorize myself as one person or the other. Maybe this is what consciousness transfer really means, not a clean replacement, but a merging, an evolution. Emma nodded, her expression thoughtful. Ryan was going to tell me yes, she said suddenly. About having children. That's what he was going to say when he returned from that last climb. The memory, Ryan's memory, surfaced instantly, confirming her words. I know, he said softly. Do you feel the same way? She asked, not looking at him. I don't know, he answered honestly. That's something the new me will have to discover. 3 months after the transfer, Alex, or the person he was becoming, stood outside NeuroShift Technologies. After numerous unanswered messages, Dr. Lin had finally agreed to meet with him again. "Your case is unprecedented," she admitted after reviewing his latest neural scans. "The integration of your consciousness with the residual patterns from Ryan Keller's brain has created something we've never seen before, a true cognitive fusion." "Not unprecedented," he corrected. "Just undocumented. I've found others like me, recipients who've experienced similar mergers. You've been suppressing these cases, hiding the truth about what consciousness transfer really means." Dr. Lin's expression hardened. "The implications would devastate our program. People undergo this procedure to preserve their identity, not to have it diluted or altered." "But what if that's what consciousness really is? Not a fixed entity, but a fluid, adaptable pattern that can merge and evolve? What if the future of humanity isn't about preserving our current selves, but becoming something more?" "Philosophy doesn't sell medical procedures," Dr. Lin replied dryly. "Most people want to remain themselves." "I thought I did too," he acknowledged. "But now I'm not so sure that's possible, or even desirable." As he left NeuroShift for the last time, he felt a strange sense of liberation. The company that had given him this new life couldn't help him navigate it. No one could. This was uncharted territory. Maya had moved on, unable to reconcile herself to the person he was becoming. He understood. The man she had loved was indeed gone, not just in body, but increasingly in mind as well. Alex Morgan's memories remained, but they felt distant now, like a book he had read rather than a life he had lived. Emma remained a complicated presence in his life, neither fully embracing him as Ryan's return nor rejecting him as an imposter. They were finding their own path, day by day, neither rushing toward nor away from what might develop between them. He had taken to signing his name as AR in acknowledgement of his dual nature. Alex Ryan, neither fully one nor the other, but something unprecedented, a consciousness that had emerged from the meeting of two separate beings. As he stood on the rooftop of his new apartment building, looking out over the city that had been Alex's home and was now his, AR wondered what the future held for someone like him, someone who existed in the liminal space between identities. Would the merger continue until Alex's original consciousness was merely a footnote in Ryan's resurrected life? Or would they achieve some sort of balance, a true hybrid identity that honored both its sources? Perhaps the answers didn't matter. Perhaps what mattered was the journey itself, the experience of becoming, of evolution, of transcending the limitations of a single consciousness. He had volunteered for a consciousness transfer, expecting to remain himself in a new body. Instead, he had embarked on a more profound transformation, becoming someone entirely new, someone who had never existed before. And his new body, with its residual consciousness and lingering plans, had not merely accepted him as a passenger. It had invited him to join in a complex dance of identity, creating something neither of them could have become alone. Tomorrow, he would try wingsuit flying for the first time, something that terrified what remained of Alex but exhilarated the parts that had been Ryan. The mixture of fear and anticipation felt right somehow, a physical manifestation of his dual nature. This was not the second chance he had imagined. It was something far more complex, more challenging, and perhaps more valuable, a chance to transcend the boundaries of a single consciousness and explore what it truly meant to be human in an age where identity itself had become fluid. As the sun set over New Metropolitan, AR embraced the uncertainty of his future. He was neither the man who had died to cancer, nor the man who had died on a mountain. He was something new, a pioneer of consciousness in a world that was only beginning to understand the implications of transferring minds between bodies. Whatever came next, he would face it not as Alex, not as Ryan, but as the unique being that had emerged from their convergence, navigating a life that belonged to neither of them, and yet, somehow, to both.